My guest tonight is a cast member on Saturday Night Live and a fantastic comedian I've had the pleasure of working with on a number of occasions. He's just killing it across the board. Please welcome our friend Chris Redd. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm sitting here with my green couch and all of my blankets, and I'm feeling good.
Really, that's how you're battling COVID, is just with a lot of blankets?
Yeah, man. I feel like the more blankets you have, the more protection against all sorts of nasty things like chills and racism.
There's no science behind any of this, but if it makes you feel better, I'm happy.
Who needs science anymore? That's the thing we're learning.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about so much to mention, but I got to talk about this right away. You raised $360,000, actually over $360,000, for something that you came up with all on your own called COVID-19 Protest Relief Fund. I want to talk about this right away because it's so important and inspiring. Tell us what that fund is.
It's basically a fund for protesters who are out on the front lines fighting in this, what I call the uprising for our justice and equality. And in the midst of our pandemic and putting the risks in their bodies on the line, some of them being in communities that are already at high risk. And I was like, man, there should be some kind of relief for treatment, for some bills, for some bail relief, for injuries, seeing all of the attacks that were happening on protesters just for using their American right to speak out. So I just wanted to do something because I was having a bunch of different conversations with folks and including my family who's high risk, so I couldn't be outside when the protests were happening. And I was like, I usually am. So I'm like, damn, I kind of feel a little useless in this whole movement. I need to do something. And I was like, man, there's a lot of bodies out there. Somebody should come up with a relief fund. Like somebody should do that. And when I said somebody, I meant like the government because it's like their jobs. But I guess that was like wishing too much. So then I said that for like 2 weeks. And then I was like, well, why don't you do that? Just start a GoFundMe. People do it all the time. I had never done a GoFundMe before. So I just kind of Googled how to GoFundMe and just went to the site, did it. And I was like hoping that it would maybe catch on and some other people like that were more prominent would do it and make. I didn't know what we would make that much money. And by the 5th hour, we were like already over $80,000. And I was like, oh wow, man, I need to figure out how to give money to the people because I don't play with people's money, So that became a 3-week crash course, getting to know organizers across the country, getting to know activists, learning what a nonprofit versus a mutual aid fund was, which ours is a mutual aid fund, and learning how it operates. Because my whole thing was getting the money to the people as quickly as we could. But I guess I had the best. I was in the best scenario where it's like usually you start a mutual aid fund or a non-for-profit, and then you like try to raise money. I had all the money and no knowledge. So between all the help and the organizers that really educated me on a lot of things I needed to know, I was able to set it up and get it going. And it's been really cool to be on the other side of it now, where the logistics are kind of worked out, and now we're just trying to get as much money out to the people and make as big an impact as possible.
Good for you. I mean, God bless you. That's an amazing thing to do. I would think it would be kind of. I could see you being panicked if $360,000 comes in and you want to get it to the people, but there's this period of time where the money is just pouring in and you think like, how do I get rid of this money?
Yeah.
Like being on Breaking Bad, like there's money coming in. I gotta get rid of this stuff.
Yeah, because I was like, I was waking up like, I gotta get rid of this because I'm just a comic, man. I want to make dick jokes, man. There were so many times, Conan, that I almost tweeted I bought a chain with it instead. Just a joke. But I was like, I can't do this. I can't until I figure out how to do this. I can't.
I know. It's a funny joke, but people would get pissed off for a second.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it was like a lot of stress because it was a world I'm not familiar with. But I'm so glad I did it. And on top of that, we've worked with the Chicago Alliance and the Black Lives Matter Chicago. And a bunch of other organizations just getting masks to people, taking care of tests. We've been getting so many cool notes about people like being able to pay their rent because they're not behind in these medical bills. And And there's a lot of people just getting beat up, man. A lot of people getting beat up, a lot of phones, a lot of iPhones were broken in the uprising. We've been able to take care of folks, and it's been the best. It's been a joy, man. It's been something that brings a lot of light to what's been a stressful time for me personally, for sure, as everybody else.
Let me ask you something. You left New York, and did you drive to Mississippi? Is that right?
Yeah. So I was in New York for 3 months during when it was the worst, and like every other person who was there with me, you get to a point where you're like, New York's not built to live in your life in your house, because it's very small. Like my 1 bedroom. I got it when I first moved here, and I was just so busy I just never moved. And it's a studio apartment with someone slapped a wall in the middle of it, and it was like, hey, but it's a room though. And so as I got here, I was like, I gotta get out. I need space. I gotta get out of here, but I want to do it as safely as I can. So I had the guy who drives me at SNL. I was like, yo, could you take me down to Mississippi? I know it's a long way, but could you please take me down there? And he was like, yeah. So we took 2 days. A 2-day trip where it took 2 weeks to map out our routes where we would stop at, so we would be safe. Because my dad's high risk, and I had to get tested 3 times to make sure. Because I guess the tests then were 67%, and so I was like, I gotta get tested 100 times to know that I'm healthy. But we did it. We got down there, and it was so cool to have space to walk around. Like my parents' house, I would just walk in the kitchen and just walk around. I didn't even want anything. I wasn't hungry. I was just walking around because it was
twirling around.
I was just, guys, you guys have this? You have this? It was amazing.
It's weird for people to go back and spend a lot of time in close quarters with their parents. How do you pass the time when you're with them? What's that like?
My dad likes to watch Westerns and sit. I don't think the world has changed much for my pops. He's like, I wasn't talking to nobody no way. So I got more Westerns than I ever had before.
He likes Westerns?
Yeah, I got him a Fire Stick, and he was like, and he just learned what binging is. We just put him on binging. I really caught him up with technology, man, with the Fire Stick. He watches Westerns that are so old. There's just not even pictures. There's just a guy describing what the scene is. A guy rides in on horse, and then Indian. Is he Indian? No. No, he's not. Just a bunch of racist guys making a movie.
Yeah.
My mom, she loves movie night, but only to just go to bed 10 minutes into the movie.
Oh, she passes out?
Oh yeah, she passes out real quick, and then she wakes up and tries to guess what's happening. She's just like, oh, why that man live in a box? There's no box. There's no man. She's just asleep. She's half asleep watching the movie. She's always spoiling it, and she doesn't even know she's doing it. She's like, oh, he could kill her. I could tell by his hat. You're that's not even But she's right, though. I don't understand her genius.
She's always right. That's funny.
Yeah, she's always on point. It's just with the weirdest. I don't like the way his feet look. He definitely kidnapped her. What? That's crazy. My mom's a big, if she is up, she's a big question person. No matter if you've seen the movie or not, she's like, what's going to happen? I'm seeing it with you, lady. I don't know. But Knives Out is something I saw a bunch. And so I was looking forward to her, trying to guess the turns. Right. And it was the one movie she couldn't all the way figure out. And she was like, huh. It was almost like she was mad at the movie that it beat her. Right? She's like, uh-huh. It wasn't that clever.
I heard you got into gaming during this COVID lockdown.
I'm a workaholic, so my whole thing, while everybody was picking up hobbies, my whole thing was to sit down and do nothing. My therapist was like, yo, you just need to chill and find something that's not attached to that you're not trying to monetize. I'm like, all right. So I started playing Call of Duty, and I got really into it. So into it that I bought a headset. I didn't even buy a headset. I bought a headset years ago, and I just found it in my house, and I was like, oh, this is what this is for. All right. And so then I'm in it. And at first I wasn't saying anything. Then I started getting good. And I was like, all right, yeah. I put the mic down, and it became a real thing. And I thought I was going to hear a lot of N-words being thrown around by children, but it was way weirder than that. The biggest thing I heard was a kid yell as he was getting, as he got a kill or something on the game. He was like, you didn't even get close to eating my and I was so confused. Like, it was his catchphrase, Conan. You didn't even get close to eating my.
What kind of brag is that?
I don't know. I took off the headset and I just sat in my thoughts like, yo, what is this kid's life? Like, I don't, like, what in what world? So he's just outside like, yo, hey, you want to eat my, but you can't though. I bet you can't even get close. Which only means one day someone will eat his. And
yeah. No, that taunt tells you a lot. There's a lot going on in there. I got to remember that. I got to remember that the next time I'm in an argument with somebody at a gas station.
I was like, I'm sorry I cut you off in traffic. You're just like, you ain't even close to eating my Honda Accord.
Get away, this is where I live. Let me ask you a question, personal question, Chris. You are a single, eligible bachelor. What would it take for you to date during COVID?
To date, right now, man, you would have to have like test results. I'm really good at picking out who's been like really wild and who's like actually been quarantining. Because I was here when it was a hot spot, when New York was a hot spot. I'm a ninja with the quarantine. I'm cold-blooded with it, man. Like I dodge Rona. So I can and how you ask, you don't ask straight out because people will lie. You just get them real comfortable. And you just ask yourself like, man, it's crazy. It's this quarantine thing driving me crazy. I would just love to kick it with like some people at like a little party, you know what I mean? Just like on the low, just so, and then they'll say something. This happened. She was like, yeah, oh, you should have been with us last weekend. We went to this cabin, but don't tell anybody. I'm like, I won't. And I'll see you in 2021, you reckless mother. You dirty. Ew, you dirty. I knew you was outside.
So it's your own sting operation.
Yes, it is.
Well, it sounds like you're in a lonely period right now, but that's okay.
Very lonely. I watch porn so much. I think I've seen all of it, and I've started sending script notes. Like I don't see the passion in their eyes. I don't believe this.
Yeah. You're starting to. So, first of all, that's something to say. You've watched all the porn. Not that I would know.
That relates to me. All the porn that relates to me. Yes. It's like. Is it HD? Is it 4K HD? We don't actually need it to be that clear. I don't want to see and hear someone crying. I don't need that, so that's
I'm glad that we started this conversation with you raising so much money for COVID-19 Protest Relief Fund. And then, as always, with me, we end up talking about pornography and how it could be better. Well, I'm thrilled. You're doing such amazing stuff. I mean, as an artist, but also getting involved and doing what you're doing. I really do salute you. I just want to get the message out. You can support the COVID-19 Protest Relief Fund by going to covid19protestrelief.com.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, I want you to stay safe and hang in there. It's so great to talk to you, and I can't wait till we get to talk in person.
I know, man. I'm looking forward to it. You stay safe too, all right?
All right, I got this hair.
Man. Keep that hair saucy. Look at that. Look at that. I know y'all mad.
You know what I'm doing? I'm batting away the COVID.
Oh, bat it.
COVID here, there's COVID there, and I'm just like, it's a whip.
Conan can do that. The rest of y'all wear masks.
Only I can do that. All right.